Hello! This video is brought to you by my Patreon supporters. Minasan, arigatou gozaimasu. This is my daily good life meditation, a video exercise that I do every morning, a little bit after waking up. It's now 4:54 a.m. I do this to remember my life objectives and principles, those which are outlined in my book, Going Alone. And you can get a copy at the link above. And if you don't see a link, there's one down in the description. This exercise is done to remember those life objectives and to see how I did in the last 24 hours, including last night, with my planned items and anything that caught me unawares, the unexpected. I also plan for the coming day, choose a mountain to climb, and then ready myself for death. But before I do any of that, I like to read a poem. And I find myself more and more sticking to Edward Thomas. I'm going to read a poem this morning called The New Year. And it's got a couple of vocabulary items here that I want to share that I had to look up. One of them was fastish, which apparently just means somewhat fast, as you can imagine. As in the water was moving fastish down the stream. Another word or phrase was, or name was high cocolorum. It's a game similar to leapfrog, although I don't quite know what the difference is. It's a boys' game apparently. Another one is called Fly the Garter. Fly the Garter is a game played by children, boys and girls, where they link hands and go make a tunnel, and the kids go through the tunnel bent over. All right, let's go ahead and start this poem, The New Year. He was the one man I met up in the woods that stormy New Year's morning, and at first sight, 50 yards off, I could not tell how much of the strange tripod was a man. His body, bowed horizontal, was supported equally by legs at one end, by a rake at the other. Thus he rested, far less like a man than his wheelbarrow in profile was like a pig. But when I saw it was an old man bent, at the same moment came into my mind the games at which boys bend thus: high cocolorum, or fly the garter, and leapfrog. At the sound of footsteps he began to straighten himself. His head rolled under his cape like a tortoise's. He took an unlit pipe from his mouth, politely, ere I wished him a Happy New Year, and with his head cast upwards, sideways muttered, so far as I could hear through the trees roar, Happy New Year, and may it come fastish too. While I strode by, and he turned to raking leaves. There's a lot of weight built up in that, isn't there? The weight of a lifetime of an old man, the casual rest, the tripod-like stature leaning upon the rake, the big heavy cloak. There's a lot in there. All right. As for yesterday and last night, I had the day off yesterday. I took the day off as I had to meet with a nurse to go over my next steps for my the cysts and the vasoramel, or however they're pronounced, that I've got going on. The next steps are they're going to refer to me to a specialist to talk about next steps, possibly surgery to address both of those. So given that I have so much sick time that I'm pending to lose since I had the doctor's appointment, I went and took the full day off yesterday. Got so much done. Wow, I really did a lot in terms of preparation for Japan, cleaning up my my house, so to speak, in terms of all the things I need to do. I had a very good time at the beach. A little later in the afternoon than I might have liked. It was a bit chilly, but it felt good. Felt very September. It's a good September time at the beach. The beach was practically empty. Nothing really ambushed me, although I nearly got ambushed by the mountain I chose to climb yesterday was to illustrate this book. This book is going to Eric, who was my very first patron. And it's hard work illustrating books. So I had to really screw up the energy And I did it. It's not quite done yet. I'm going to illustrate it a little more. The first concept cover here, here's Siberia Ghost Town. You can see there's me, the train, my motorcycle, the Siberia ruins, the riding bridge. I'm going to spend time sitting here on my breaks and detail some color. I also added little bits of illustration throughout in different places. I'll show you. And I'll deepen these as well with more color. So just saw one. Oh, well, there's a little sunshine there. There's more. There's these segue pages that's got little bits of writing. Oh, there's one. See, I illustrated that with kind of like this nighttime falling. Anyway, Eric, this is your book. I need to finish that illustration, and then Eric, if you see this, once you send me your address in Sweden, I'll get that in the mail to you with my compliments and my thanks. That was yesterday. Oh, I had such a nice evening with my wife. Really good time. Lots of mulling yesterday about the coming age. I'm trying to live less in the retired age and prepare for that life now by living better now, as though that were the life that I'm in. I'm not saying that very well. I do worry that I'll retire and I'll set up house and it'll be nice for a month or two, and then I'll get bored, or worse, worse might happen. You might just not know what to do with the hell with myself, right? So I'm preparing myself, this idea of the mountain to climb each day, the structure of the day, the interactions with my wife and our dogs, etc., readying myself for the new life. New life of freedom. Can't wait. Oh. I did keep an eye on work yesterday. I had that on my mind a little bit, just to make sure nothing was going to ambush me today, and I think I'm in good shape. It was just one small thing. I'm ready for it. Let's do the good life. My 8 objectives are: 1, to be always ready to die. 2, to make good and effective use of time, including having a mountain to climb. And I already know what today's mountain is. I'll talk about that later. 3, to develop and maintain good and sound life principles. 4, to cultivate good emotional reactions. 5, to perform good actions. 6, to recognize my true limits and my true opportunities. 7, to do just one thing at a time, and do that thing slowly and deliberately and carefully. And 8, to maintain my balance. You can learn more about all this stuff in my book, in the chapter titled The Good Life. My 34 principles then are 35. War, reason, homunculus, anchor hold, home of good and evil, purpose, atomic principle, principle of nature, the pirate ride, maturity, social principle, principle of family, public speaking, temperance, life will not go well, the horror show, that which must be born, the feast of offal, the best seat in the house, distraction, agency, and the great indifference. The best seat in the house. I said it twice, huh? That's where it belongs. The best seat in the house. The restless man, path of wildness, the great life adventure, the risk of avoiding risk, sin and damnation, complete oblivion, the season of philosophy, script writing, the bullseye aim, the uphill climb, arena and utility, nothing is enough, the principle of fun, and being ready. That must be the fastest I've ever gone through that. My mind seems well tuned this morning. Now, as for today, what am I going to do today? It's a day of work. I know what I'm going to do. First of all, the mountain that I'm going to climb. I have a project closure meeting next week. We have our last, we have second to last readiness check for that. I want to make sure that my part in that meeting is prepared. I have an agenda. I'm going to be the MC. I'll have an agenda ready, a presentation that I'm going to do ready, a background slideshow that's going to go on while others are talking, and then I'll run the meeting this afternoon to make sure everybody else has their items in place. That's my mountain. The other thing that I'm going to do, which is a big thing, but it's not, I'm not going to consider it the mountain today, but it's important, is that yesterday on my other project, the sponsors or the stakeholders, the primary stakeholders, I had provided them a vetted list of scope items and risks and assignments, and I asked them to review that and to get back to me. I didn't hear back from them yet, but I'll communicate with them and determine if that scope was reviewed and get to sign off on it. Once I have sign off, then I can begin to fill out the details, and more importantly, no, not more importantly, equally importantly, begin addressing the risks. That's my goal for today. Keep up on my email. I got a couple of rogue little email I got to work on. And that's my thing. And then throughout that, I'll have 2 breaks, which I'll enjoy reading, and my lunch break, I'll take a nice walk with my wife and the dogs and have a good lunch. And then at the evening, I'll go to the beach and go for a good swim and have another nice walk with my wife and her dogs. And then Miko and I are watching a drama together. We'll watch that, probably finish that in the evening, if I can stay up. And then I'll go to bed. It'll be a good day. And if I die today, I'm ready. I am ready to die. I talked about the mountain to climb. My affairs are in order. My relationships are sound. I did call my mom. I did my duty. And my life's work is done, man. Because over the weekend, I updated Going Alone to do something, a little formatting thing I wanted to do, which I've been wanting to do for months. And I did it over the weekend. It took half a day, and it's done. Yes, that book is in good shape now. I also added last week a Charles Dickens quote that I really liked. I'll sign off for now. I wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Take care.